careful making permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions. But first, what's up, beautiful people? It's your favorite cousin Rich back again. Hope y'all having a marvelous day, as I am. So let's begin. Making permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions. If you know one thing, your emotions are gonna go up and down, up and down. And it's even more dangerous or volatile if you don't have control of your emotions. See, everybody's gonna have emotions. Everybody's gonna feel some type of way about something. We all do. It's a human thing. It's just what we are. We're built into it. We're emotional beings. The issue is when you don't have control of these emotions. And what's even worse is after you don't have control of these emotions is if you make decisions when you're not in control of your emotions. I know I've said it before, but when people are not in control of their emotions and they make these permanent decisions, when they're riding on that high, not high from any drug, but high from emotions, they don't make the right decision because your brain is not in the right state to make these decisions. It's in an emotional state. How many times have you made the right decision when you were highly emotional? How many times were you in a situation where you were highly emotional? I'm not necessarily saying crying like sad emotions, although we equate sadness to being emotional. But emotions is still being angry, being happy, being sad. Emotions encompasses a lot of things. But how many times have you been in an emotional state and you wanted to make a decision and you didn't let it calm down? You didn't try to find center in yourself. And that decision that you made or see someone make when they weren't in the proper mind state to make that decision had an everlasting effect or had an everlasting outcome on their life. Someone makes you mad and you feel that blood boil inside. Someone calls you out your name. Someone do you dirty and you feel that blood boiling. And that temporary emotion of you being angry leads you to do something to this person where it's going to have an everlasting effect on your life. Where now you may lose your freedom in society or you may even lose your life thinking you're going to take something from somebody else and they end up taking it from you. At the end of the day, when you're riding high on that emotion train, you don't think about the consequences. You don't think about the consequences when you level off. When you come down. That's the only time you think about these consequences. When you're riding high, you don't care about them. You're riding off that dopamine. That dopamine of your emotions. That dopamine of not thinking clear. So now you make this permanent decision. And now you either lose your life or you take someone else's life or you harm someone to the point where legal action, recourse, or them coming back in retaliation has to occur. Now you find yourself in a worse off position than had you just allowed your emotions to taper off and you go on about your way. Because a lot of times in these situations that we find ourselves in, where we riding high off emotions, and if we really let our emotions come down, we'll see that these situations aren't even big. These situations won't even matter. That's why I really live by this code that if it's not gonna matter in 10 years, 5 years, if it's not gonna matter in a year, if it's not gonna make a big difference in my life, let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth addressing. You're not gonna gain anything from it. Now, if it's something that is gonna have some kind of effect, or it is something that I'm gonna have to deal with, or is gonna bother me in 5, 10, 15 years, or tomorrow, if it's somebody that, I may know that this situation has to be cleared about or has to have some kind of understanding, then that's something that I have to deal with. And in these situations is when I let my emotions, taper off and then handle them accordingly. Why? Because these situations are important. These people are important. They play some kind of role. But for people who are insignificant, situations that are insignificant, let them go. They don't matter. The worst thing to do is to be sitting in somebody's cell. Worst thing to do is be sitting alone. Worst thing to do is be sitting in the ground because you let an insignificant person or an insignificant situation take you out of character and you lose everything you've ever worked for. That's the worst situation to be in. Don't find yourself in the middle of the night, like I said, sitting in somebody's cell. Don't find yourself in the middle of the night sitting by yourself. Don't find yourself sitting in the ground because you let your emotions put you in this place. And a lot of times we want to put the blame on somebody else. Oh, they made me do this. Oh, they made me do that. Granted, yes. But it don't matter what somebody else has done to you. It's always how you react. If you go to court, the judge is not caring what this person did to you. It's always how you react. Unless this other person, put their hands on you, assaulted you, or put you in a position to where you had to defend yourself. Okay, cool. You took the appropriate course of action. But if nobody has harmed you in any sort of way, physically, to where you have to take such recourse, like self-defense, then it'll be all on you. These people are not going to come back and say, hey, let's share the cell because I take part responsibility of you crashing out. They're not going to do that. Because at the end of the day, that's all it is you crashing out. You may not see it as that, but lose everything. Sit in somebody's cell, lose your freedom, lose your family, lose your kids, lose your money. And then you'll see. Like I said, this isn't to beat up on people. This is just for you to open your eyes to really see that by you letting your emotions lead your actions will put you in a very, very bad predicament. Like I said, emotions are not bad. Emotions will tell you how you're feeling. Now you navigate that feeling. If you're feeling sad, you're feeling happy, you're feeling guilty, you're feeling jealous, you're feeling excited, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling anxious, listen to it, pay attention to it. Now that's how you go about after you have recognized your emotion, after you have recognized your mental state. Because once you make that course of action, there ain't no redos. This ain't no video game. This ain't no Grand Theft Auto where you just hit restart after you messed up. You can't do that. Unless maybe you got a real good lawyer. And that only depends on what you've done. There ain't no redo on unaliving somebody. Ain't no, redo on assaulting somebody to where they have to reconstruct this person's face. There ain't no redo on a lot of things. Some things, granted, yes, but a lot of things, they're not. So let's not even take that chance. How many people do we know that have saw something very interesting or enticing? You know what I'm talking about, interesting and enticing. And you made that decision to have a little fun. You know what I'm talking about when I say have a little fun with something interesting and enticing, right? You made that decision. Knowing you got something that you were supposed to be loyal to. Knowing you got somebody who you building the world with, and your temporary high of emotions, of feeling this heat, got you willing to make certain decisions because of how you feel, which may not even be true, but just temporarily how you feel, got you in a position to where you may lose somebody very valuable who trusts you, somebody who's loyal to you, somebody who cares about you, somebody who appreciates you, all for some fun based off of a temporary emotion, a temporary feeling. And when you undergo these actions based off of these temporary feelings and emotions of feeling hot, and it's all said and done, you look back at it after you lose everything, you say, was it really worth it? And when we ask these people who've encountered these situations, Every time they always say, after they lost everything, they always say, it wasn't worth it. How many times has somebody stepped out because they were feeling that height of emotion, of feeling hot? You know, it was overcoming. How many times have we seen these people take these course of actions, you know, and indulge because their emotions told them to indulge? And now, after they lose everything, how many times have these people said, oh, it was worth it? Never. Unless the situation that they were in before, you know, wasn't prosperous. Then okay, I could understand. You know? Anyway, hope this video could help somebody. Remember, don't make permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions. It'll lead you down a road that'll be very hard to come out of. Don't lose everything you've ever worked for, everything you really appreciate, everything God has blessed you with, based off of a temporary high. Ground yourself before you make these permanent decisions. Ground yourself before you make any decision that you're not comfortable with, and that God is not going to smile at you when you make these decisions. Hope this helps somebody today. This is your favorite cousin. Y'all be safe. Love and blessings.